Good day everyone, good day sir, classmates and friends. I am Johara Garza Zapotalo, a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies. In this video, I'm going to discuss about the famous Renaissance painters and their works. So, let's go!
We have 10 famous Renaissance painters. They are Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, Sandro Botticelli, Giotto, Hieronymus Bosch, Albert Dürer, Titian, and Tintoretto. Leonardo di Serpere da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452 in Anciano, Italy. Leonardo da Vinci was the ideal Renaissance man, the greatest universal genius among others. Da Vinci was also a painter, mathematician, engineer, architect, botanist, sculptor, and anatomist. The Mona Lisa was his most famous artwork. His other works are Vitruvian Man, Self-Portrait, The Virgin of the Rocks, Head of a Woman, Lady with an Ermine, Salvator Monde, Ginevra da Vinci, and The Virgin and Child with Saint Anne. Michelangelo was born in the small village of Capris on March 6, 1475. The son of a government administrator, he grew up in Florence, a center of the early Renaissance movement, and became an artist apprentice at the age of 13. Michelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti Simoni was a Renaissance man or universal genius who excelled in various fields including painting, architecture, poetry, and engineering. Here are some of his artworks: David of Michelangelo, the Sistine Chapel Ceiling, the Pieta, the Last Judgment, the Creation of Adam, Madonna of the Stairs, Madonna of Bruges. Raphael, full name Raffaello Sancho or Rafael Sante, was an Italian High Renaissance painter and architect who was born on April 6, 1483 in Urbino, Duchy of Urbino, Italy, and died on April 6, 1520 in Rome, Papal States, Italy. His art is admired across the world of its clarity of form, ease of composition, and visual brilliance. His famous work is called The School of Athens. Here are some of his works: Transfiguration, Self-Portrait, The Marriage of the Virgin, The Triumph of Galatia, La Fornarina, Madonna del Prato, Disputation of the Holy Sacrament. Donato di Niccolò di Beto Bardi or Donatello was the son of Niccolò di Beto Bardi, who was a member of Florentine Arti di Lana. He was born in Florence, probably in the year 1386. Donatello was the leading sculptor of the early Renaissance, and he created some of the most renowned sculpture in the world, including Bronze David and the equestrian statue of Gattamelata. Some of his works are Bronze David, Equestrian Statue of Gattamelata, Saint George, Lucon, The Feast of Herod, Penitent Magdalene, Judith and Holofernes, Saint Mark, Canturia, Saint Louis of Toulouse. Sandro Botticelli, full name Alessandro di Mariano Filippi, was a Florentine Renaissance painter who was born in 1445 in Florence and died on May 17, 1510 in Florence. Botticelli was the greatest humanist painter of the early Renaissance. Since then, his paintings have been seen to represent the linear grace of early Renaissance painting. Some of his works are The Birth of Venus, Primavera, Mars and Venus, Adoration of Magi, Madonna of the Magnificat, The Mystical Nativity, The Portrait of a Young Man Holding a Roundel, Madonna and Child, A Portrait of a Young Woman. Giotto di Bondone, known mononymously as Giotto and Latinized as Giottos, was an Italian painter and architect from Florence during the late Middle Ages. Giotto was the most important Italian painter during 14th century, a period which falls under the early Renaissance. Giotto is known for being the first to masterfully capture the gesture, faces, sorrows, and joys of human beings, and for being faithful to nature. Some of his works are Lamentation, Ognissanti Madonna, Adoration of Magi, The Kiss of Judas, The Flight into Egypt, Nativity, Madonna and Child, Saint Francis Receiving the Stigmata, Pentecost, The Last Judgment. Next we have Hieronymus Bosch. Hieronymus Bosch was the first artist to depict innovative creatures and realms that are incomprehensible to humans. He once said, "Poor is the mind that always uses the invention of others and invents nothing itself." Today, Hieronymus Bosch is regarded as one of the first visionary geniuses of the art world and a hugely individualistic painter with a deep insight into humanity's desire and deepest fears. Here are some of his paintings: The Garden of Earthly Delights, The Haven Triptych, Hell, The Last Judgment, The Triptych of the Temptation of Saint Anthony, Death of the Miser, Cutting the Stone, The Seven Deadly Sins and the Four Lastings, The Conjurer, The Wayfarer, Ship of Fools, and also Saint John the Evangelist on Patmos. Albert Dürer was a German painter, printmaker, and theorist of German Renaissance. Born in Nuremberg, Dürer established his reputation and influence across Europe in his 20s due to the high-quality woodcut prints. He was born on May 21, 1471 in Nuremberg, Germany. Albert Dürer was a brilliant painter and draftsman, but his greatest artist impact was in the medium of printmaking. Albert Dürer was a painter, printmaker, and writer generally regarded as the greatest German Renaissance artist. Here are some of his artworks: A Self-Portrait at the Age of 28, Dhurer's Rhinoceros, The Young Hare, Adam and Eve, Great Piece of Turf, Feast of the Rosary, St. John in the Wilderness, Little Passion, and Portrait of Emperor Maximilian I. Tiziano Vecellio, or Vecellio, known in English as Titian, was an Italian painter during the Renaissance, considered the most important member of the 16th century Venetian school. He was born in Pieve di Cadore near Belluno. During his lifetime, he was often called the Cador, from Cador, a name taken from his native region. Titian was the greatest painter of 16th century Venice and the first painter to have a mainly international clientele. During his long career, he experimented with many different styles of painting which embodied the development of art during his epoch. Here are some of his paintings: Venus of Urbino, Bacchus and Ariadne, The Assumption of the Virgin, Diana and Actaeon, The Rape of Europa, Diana and Callisto. Tintoretto, by the name Jacopo Robuste, born on 1518 and died on May 31, 1594, was a great Italian Mannerist painter of the Venetian school and one of the most important artists of the late Renaissance. Tintoretto was an Italian painter identified with the Venetian school. His contemporaries both admire and criticize the speed with which he painted and the unprecedented boldness of his brushwork. Here are some of his paintings: The Last Supper, The Miracle of the Slave, The Origin of the Milky Way, The Crucifixion, Second Paradiso, Finding of the Body of Saint Mark, Saint Mark's Body brought to Venice, and Susanna and the Elders.